start the recording. And it's nice to see some of your faces. A lot of your faces I don't see. I actually just see screen numbers, etc. But a couple of things I want to do today, if I might. And one is, we haven't done this for a while, just to remind you, we have some great partners in real estate. If you can give them an at-bat, they are deserving of that. And that is, of course, whoever is in your area with Movement Mortgage. Alice and her group just do a wonderful job. Please support them whenever you can do that. Secondarily, we've got Friends, Home Warranty of America, as well as True North Title. And I know that's not applicable to all of you, but if there's the applicability there of it, please give them the opportunity to earn your business. They will appreciate it, and we certainly appreciate their support. Couple of things I want us to talk about today, and one of them revolves around really the TED Talk that some of you have already listened to, some of you haven't yet listened to, and that is the focus on your why. And the reason I want you to focus on your why are you doing this, is because we're going to focus on it in our business planning over the next 2 weeks with Kristan. But more importantly than that, we have some that are just joining us, and we really need to be focused on why we're doing what we're doing, so that we have the proper mindset to be able to go out there and achieve our goals, be as successful as we want to be, and beyond. And again, some of you I know have great business plans. We've talked at length about some things. Some of you are just beginning. Some of you are, again, looking at it from a different perspective. But remember, your why really doesn't have anything in the world to do with the number of transactions, the average price point, those sorts of things. It's why do you get up every morning? Why are you doing what you're doing? And that why needs to be bigger than you. So having said those things, I'm going to just tee you up to, again, watching the TED Talk and being prepared for Friday's call. Now, some of you have already received a new fee agreement. Some of you will receive it sometime today. Hopefully your RDs have already talked to you about it, but we are going to see a little bit of a change as it relates to that fee structure. I think it's great for the agents because it changes your split on your sphere of influence to an 80-20 split, and it's 80-20 throughout, I guess I'll use the word perpetuity. So as long as you're here and your sphere of influence is doing business, it's an 80-20 split. I get 80, you get 20. Oh, wait, maybe that's not the way it works. You get 80, the Kristan Cole Network gets 20. I just wanted to see if anybody was listening. And Katie gave it away that she was listening. And so, again, that'll be coming out to you. If you have any questions, either talk to your RD or reach out to me if you'd like to do that. The other thing I'd like to mention to you is the fact that we actually have standards on the Kristan Cole Network. And I hope that you are all eminently proud of being a part of this, because we do have the standards. And realistically speaking, we haven't all been living up to the standards. So let's kind of talk about that. One of which is reporting your numbers is actually a standard of the Kristan Cole Network. And for whatever reason, somebody needs to mute. I hear paper being wadded up. But for whatever reason, you haven't all been reporting the numbers, and it makes it difficult for you and I to look at your production and look at what's going on to see what kind of things we can work around. So it's to your best interest to do that. It takes 23 seconds. And yes, Kristan made us do it, and we timed it. So that's how I know it takes 23 seconds to do this. And all you need to do is log on or go into kcndailynumbers.com and put your numbers in there. It's as simple as that. I don't know what else to say. I don't need secret agents. We really do need to look at those numbers. And as most of you know, I don't actually coach to numbers. That is the end product of us doing the task. That's what I'm going to talk about. But you really do need to get those in there. Anybody have any questions about that? Any pressing reason why you couldn't possibly spend 23 seconds putting your numbers in? Yeah, I didn't think so. Also, one other word. I'm going to pick on Katie just a little bit, I guess because I can see her, but there is, people seem reluctant to want to put the word no into their vocabulary. And no is a perfectly acceptable word. And occasionally you are going to run into a client that is either going to want to try to talk you into taking less money for a commission, or they're going to want to have you do things outside of what we would normally do, and et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. And quite often people will want you to, this is my phrase, be your beck and call person. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not anybody's beck and call girl. Thanks anyway. No disrespect intended to Julia Roberts. But realistically, you should have a schedule. You have a calendar. People need to respect you as a professional. There's no way you're going to get that respect if you consistently just roll over to the whim of somebody wanting you to jump right now. And here's where my picking on, if you will, or applauding Katie comes in. She's gotten a lead on something that's going to be a significantly priced product for listing. And it's going to be north of $3 million. Which in and of itself, when we sell it, will result in a fairly big commission. And the gentleman that owns this property is awfully self-absorbed. And consequently, he needed to be ratcheted back. And Katie, even though she's a relatively new agent, effectively did that. And she did it with such style and grace that he came right back and said, okay, we'll do it your way. And yes, we still want to meet. And yes, we want to do this. And he's interviewed virtually every high producing agent in and around the Sedona area. And it took someone to say, no, I believe you just need to find someone else to list your property. I mean, she was very calm, very quiet, very much a lady. I would have told him to go straight to, and I would have told him how to get there. But she did it with class and grace. And we have a listing appointment with him on Friday, which was the first time we could do it anyway, which is what he was upset about. He wanted us to just jump, and we went no. So don't sell yourself short. Remember, no is acceptable.
Good job, Katie.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job, Katie. One other thing I want to talk about just a little bit before I talk about some things that maybe we ought to talk about in this call. But one of those.
Hey, Faye.
Yes.
Can I say something real quick?
Certainly.
Katie, I know Faye's got, obviously a lot of, experience to draw from too, but if he asks you, whether or not we have sold, how many luxury homes have we sold, just so you know, as an entity, KCN, whether it's here in Arizona where we sold last year, sold a $2.4 million house, or whether it's in Naples and Fort Myers where Denny just closed on I think it was 2.2 million. I could get the number for you, like how many we've sold in that price range in the last year. It's a decent number. So if that would help you be able to say, to be able to give that information, I can get it for you.
I would love that. I think that would help. He's very confident with what we can do because Faye has accepted his request to co-list with me and thinks she is just an amazing powerhouse. But any numbers I can get to support what we can provide with him and to him, information for him, I think would be really helpful. So I would appreciate that a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, I will do that for you. Of course.
Thank you.
Yes, we've got some folks here with our organization who've done great work. And one of the advantages of having been on the planet as long as I have and having been in the area as long as I have, sold a lot of real estate. So I don't think that was it nearly as much as the fact that we knew all the players, we knew everything, we knew the history, et cetera. The Department of Real Estate just gave me some information 2 days ago wherein they've indicated to me in my 26 years here as an instructor through the Department of Real Estate, based on the number of licensees and the classes that I teach, both in CE, in broker, and in pre-licensing, that I have touched almost 3/4 of all the licensees in the state of Arizona. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but nobody can say, do you know so-and-so, without having me be able to say, of course I do, and vice versa. And one of our agents went to take a listing last night with some people that live near them. And the people that they were talking to, he's a retired commercial agent from the Valley. And he said, by the way, is Faye still with your company? And this person said, of course. And he said, and she said, well, how do you know Faye? And he said, well, everybody who's anybody in real estate knows Faye. So we have that going for us. That and the fact I think
that's true. That's a true statement.
So, but it would be good to have the numbers as to what we've actually done in terms of those higher end properties. Thank you. And one other thing that I want to talk about is compliance. And I am a broker. I've been a broker for a long time, and I am licensed in several states. I'm just not licensed in every state. So when you have issues as it relates to the compliance in terms of the real estate deal, you need to make sure that you are reaching out to the broker in your office. Don't ever discount the value of those people. And factually, we look at it almost from two different perspectives. We're following leads, doing deals, etc. But when we put a deal together, remember that still has to be in compliance with state and federal law. And rarely is there a question I can't answer. I'm sure there are questions I can't answer. It doesn't happen very often. However, remember, if I'm not licensed in your state, I may not be able to give you the most current and complete answer. And it would be better, and my advice to you is always going to be to go to the broker in your market center and speak with them about what you need to do. So that leads me to, please remember, your market center is a tremendous wealth of knowledge, information, classes, etc., that you should absolutely be taking advantage of, because you've got the best of two wonderful worlds. You've got all of KW at your fingertips, and then you've got all that KCN has to offer at your fingertips. So please don't let go of one to grab the other. Make sure that you're allowing them to run parallel in your real estate life. Now, a couple of things that I want to talk about. I asked you if you had gone on and listened to the TED Talk that Kristan expects us to listen to before Friday. And a few of you that said you did. I'm going to ask you, did you discover anything? Did you have an aha after that 18 minutes that you want to share?
I'll throw something out there. It's, as I'm sort of more new in the real estate side, I was applying a lot of what I was listening to the real estate photography side, because I helped my husband start that business. And so he was listening to it as well as he was editing some photos. And I said, okay, well, look, people are going to you over, say, Tour Factory because of the why you're doing it, because you want to provide for your family and they know who your family is, and because you want to get back to the community and they know the community so they can relate to you. And so they're more likely to call you because they like your ultimate why you're doing everything. And so that's sort of looking at it from that perspective gave me another way to look at it with my real estate business. And so now I'm just really focusing on to make sure that I demonstrate my why just in my actions, hoping that will increase the value of what I have to offer to leads.
You know, I've been blessed, and thanks to a large degree to Keller Williams, to actually have seen Simon Sinek speak a couple of times, and I read a lot of his books. And if you follow me on social media, you know, rarely does a day go by that I don't post something from him. And every time I listen to it, as it relates to the Golden Circle, and focus back on the why, and that people will do business with you because of your why, not because of the what, not because of the how, but instead the why. And the reason that obviously, I'm sure Kristan wants us all to read this or to listen to it, is to get that focus as to the fact that your why is so important. And I was talking to Tyler earlier today, and we were talking about coming from contribution, and we were talking about somebody's crumbling paper again, and we were talking about big why and the company's big why and et cetera. And, you know, Kristan has a great vision for the why for the Kristan Cole Network. And it's very personal to her, and it means the world. And I love it as well. And yet, I have other things that are important to me as well. Many of you know that my husband was a Shriner. My late husband was a Shriner. So Shriners Hospitals for Children are very important to me. I donate to them. I volunteer there, et cetera. So it's a tie-in because we're still talking about children and et cetera. And you've got to make sure that there's something that you're personally invested in for your big why. It will mean so much more to you. And if you're going to follow somebody, Kristan Cole is as fine of an example as there is. However, you also need to find that which causes you that emotional attachment to your why. And it will likely be not exactly what Kristan's is. It may very well be something that runs parallel to it. And there's nothing in the world wrong with that. It just needs to be why you get up every day. That makes sense? What a quiet day. Cool. Thank you for that. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
We've got about 10 minutes to go here. And so I want to hear from y'all. Obviously, I want this to be able to focus a bit on our business planning with Kristan. So we're prepared to do what we need to do when we get there on Friday. But what other things would y'all like to talk about?
Could you repeat that question, Faye?
Certainly. I said that we're going to focus, obviously, on making sure that we're doing the things we need to do so we're prepared for Friday. And we've talked about some of those things. So my question was, what does everybody else want to talk about? We've got about 9 minutes to talk about other things if you'd like.
Do we need to prepare anything on paper, or that will be discussed on Friday?
You will actually get an email that will have paperwork for you. I believe that will come out to you on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, so the what we're going to go over on Fridays will come out Thursday night, because what Jeremy and I and Faye have discovered is that if we send it out to you too early, you either don't pay attention to it, or or you try to skip ahead. And so what we really want is, like, you know, from Friday to Thursday, we want you focused on the homework that came out of the Friday call, and then we want you to have time, obviously, to get everything printed. So we'll send the things that we're going over on Friday out Thursday night so that you can get them printed off and be prepared. I will say this, that as a leadership team, we have worked really hard on this business planning aspect that we're going through over the next month. So if you're on this call, and I've heard some of the names or voices, so I know Tyler and Archie and Katie are on the call, and I know there's others. I would say, well, I know we're all busy, but if as much as humanly possible, if you will put the hard work in to doing the homework and being prepared and being on the calls on Friday, and even if you didn't really catch something, going back and listen to the call, and then, talking with Faye on the Wednesday call, I promise you, I will flat guarantee you that when we finish this, the first Friday of November, you will have a complete business plan. You will know exactly what you need to do every day. And better than that is you will understand why, like what Faye said earlier, why learning to say no is the key, and to narrowing your focus to actually achieving the goals that you want to hit. And understanding not just your goals, but also why do you want this? Why is it important to you? It's a lot easier for us as leaders to help you if we understand your why and we know what your goals are. Because the standard is the same. To be on the team, you have to, we do have standards, but your goals may be very different. So you may have goals that are twice as much as mine, but the point is we all start from a place of a standard, and we can't get you to your goal if we don't understand why you want to do this and what your roadblocks are so that we can help you remove them. So dig deep during this month. I promise you it will pay off if you really want to hit your goals in the next 12 months.
I have a question. What if you're still discovering your why? What are some tricks or tips? And don't force your why. What if you don't have a why yet?
That's a great question. Tegan, are you on the call?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she is. I would let her answer it, but I'll tell you, she asked this very question, Tyler, of Gary Keller, about 4 years ago. So she went to the Quantum Leap for Kids, and she went up and asked Gary, she goes, Gary, if I don't have a why yet, what should I do until I understand? It may be in there, but I just don't understand it yet. And here's what he said: go help someone that does know their why, because by helping them with their why, it will help you discover your own. So that's what he told her to do. And funny, she went and helped someone that was starting a t-shirt business in their garage. And today, she was in Arizona here a few weeks ago, and she went and met with them. And now they have this big internet business, and they make all these fancy bow ties and fancy things. Anyway, the bottom line is she helped them with their why and getting started. And then, she really discovered hers when she had a major accident and had half of her face pulled off of her skull. And she really discovered what was important to her. So Tyler, it's not unusual at your age to maybe not know. I can tell you that I really didn't know it and understand it until 2007, when I really took a year to figure it out, because I didn't know that there was a process that actually could help you get there faster. And also, Tyler, I would say this to you, once you've listened to the 18-minute TED Talk, once we've done the work on the call this Friday, and if you still feel like, you have some questions, I will have another call with a small group of you that maybe, want to dig deeper on it and understand it. Because usually I can ask you, I don't know, 10 or 12 questions, and you will start to see patterns, and you'll go, oh, yep, I get it. So
I think that's what it is having someone else not necessarily discover it for me, yet lead me to where because I've watched the video many times, and I'm going to watch it again. So it may just be that one-on-one, not necessarily one-on-one, just an interaction with another person to help me discover it by asking me those tough questions and totally looking for those answers.
So I think
Kristan,
I think you and I have an agreement for us to get on another call, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I still have to meet my obligations with Faye.
So we can sure work on that too. And Faye, between all of us, we'll get you there. I can tell you it's worth the digging. I worked with a guy out of Kansas City named Chris Carter, and it took 2 months, but it was really only 4 phone calls. And he was the toughest nut I ever had to crack. And by the end of our time together, he knew it. He loved it. He was like, this is it. And it was awesome. So we'll get you there, Tyler.
I know.
Well, I have a big why. I can give you some of mine to work for. I have some big whys.
That's awesome.
Sorry, this is Stephanie. Hey.
Oh, hi,
I guess
Stephanie.
what I'm saying is I don't have it on paper. I don't have it written down. And do I truly know, is that really my big why? Is that really what gets me out of bed in the morning?
Just remember, Tyler, that what your big why is today may look very different 5 years from now, even a year from now. Motivation changes. Your behavior doesn't. Well, you're young enough. Your behavior could change a little bit, but given my experience of knowing you, it's probably not going to change a lot.
No.
Does anybody want
I also want
Thank
to say,
you.
Faye, sure, Faye is right. I mean, there's no reason that specifically when, I'll give you an example. I am doing a business planning in Coeur d'Alene here in a couple of weeks for one of the clients, one of the big expansion teams that I coach. And they are, going to be, there's no cost for the class, but the option is for them to donate to the charity. And what I love to do with some of those things, and I told Kevin Gardy the same thing, and is that, if you do something like that, if we do something in your area and we, those donations come in, I'm happy to support, your big why. So for instance, if we did something up in Northern Arizona with Faye, to then support the Shriners on behalf of Faye's big why. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to be quiet now.
Well, not at all. We appreciate you being here with us. Absolutely. One of the great joys that I get, and I appreciate this opportunity, Kristan, is to dig deep a little bit on many of these people that I'm coaching and find out interesting things about them, et cetera, and allow them to understand that it's perfectly acceptable, perfectly expected, is part of being a human being to have your big why be tied to something that has absolutely nothing in the world to do with real estate. Again, making the money, that's the how I'm going to be able to get there. That's not my why. And so we've got some amazingly talented people in amazing variety of genres in this group. So I'm excited for everybody to be able to dig deep and do some of this. It is 1:31. I don't want to keep you and impose upon your time. I thank you for joining us today. Again, I cannot encourage you enough to go watch the TED Talk. Make sure you do your homework. Be looking for it on Thursday. As Kristan said, if you have any questions or issues that I can help you with, please sing out. Again, text me is the quickest way to get a response from me. My number is 602-999-7223. And I will talk to all of you, I'm sure, or listen to you on Friday. Have a good day.
Thanks, Faye.
Thank
for a
you.
great call.
Thank you, Faye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Faye.